Yo, yo, yo. Hey, guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. Have you ever thought to yourself, there's probably a practice within my practice of dentistry that I could do to better serve patients? Well, if you ever thought that, I'm going to share a story today with a friend of mine, Dr. Brent Bush. And he's going to talk about his journey to create a better practice by creating a practice within his practice. I know it sounds a little convoluted, but you're going to love this story and what happened and what he's doing now. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. You know the jam around here. My job is to find the coolest people on the planet, great dentists, great thinkers, great leaders to help you create a better practice and a better life. And have you ever thought to yourself, you know what, maybe there's a whole entire practice within my practice? Well, if you're thinking that, we're going to talk about it today with a new friend of mine, relatively new friend, Dr. Brent Bush, who's been on a journey, and he's going to share his journey today, and you're going to see you probably have a practice within your practice. So, Brent, thanks for being on, brother. I appreciate you.
Kirk, I appreciate you having me with you.
Yeah. You know, I've been stalking you. And so he was cutting the grass, listening to a few podcasts. And then he's like, all right, I'll go on and we'll talk about it. But I finally got you here. And I'm so excited. And I want to start here. I want you to tell our listeners, just give us a little bio. Because I always love our listeners to know a little bit about who they are, who they're listening to before we get into the topic. So who are you? Who's Dr. Brent Bush?
Yeah, sure. So personally, I'm the father of three boys. One's a freshman in college, freshman in high school, and a seventh grader. So married for 25 years to Karen, my wife, who is also a dentist. Transitioned to professionally. So I'm from California, born and raised. Went to Chapel Hill for dental school, and we met there. And she's from where we live now, here in Wilmington, North Carolina, and the rest is history, they say. So right. We have a single dentist practice, even though there's two of us. So I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. She works on Wednesday. So that's kind of cool, and we get to share the joys there. We just hired an associate a couple years ago to kind of, transition a little bit. So that's kind of it. I was a single tooth dentist for half of my career. I graduated in 98. So let's say, 12 years. And my eyes were opened at a study club, hands-on study club. And from then on, I changed my practice, changed the way I look at dentistry.
Yeah. So tell me about the study club. So where was the study club? Yeah. Who was facilitating and what happened?
Right. So my dental school roommate, a great friend, Will Current in Gastonia, North Carolina. I think you know Will.
I love Will. I know both Wills in Gastonia. There's Will Kelly and Will Current. So
yes, sir. Yeah. So Will and I were dental school roommates, right? So, and we were in each other's weddings and things like that. So, going along fine. We graduated in 98. Will was in a study club in Atlanta with Todd Davis.
Yeah.
It was a Pankey faculty, and doing a study club there for like 10 years. And Will said, you know what, I want to do this. I want to start my own. So Will called me and he said, you need to do this. And Will's the kind of friend that if he calls me to do something, I don't really ask questions. You just do it. Yeah. So I did it. And he's like, oh, you're going to love it. So showed up and I said on the first day I was a blank slate. I have no idea anything besides a busy drill and fill practice.
Right.
And 2 days later, Todd Davis will tell you right now that I said I've got the decision to make. Either I continue to just drill and fill and be busy and burn out, or go learn and be open to the idea of more comprehensive dentistry. So it was the turning point in my practice life.
That's so great. And Todd, just an amazing human being, great educator.
Yes.
So you're in good hands. I did not know that's where it all happened. And I love those guys.
Yeah. Good folks, man. So we still are meeting. That was 2011. So
yeah.
Now, I'm going to start a new study club just like that for new dentists here in Wilmington. So we're going to start that. Todd and I are going to start that. He's going to lead, and I'll be the second guide for a hands-on occlusion workshop study club here in Wilmington in March.
And I want you to talk about the transformation that happened once you were able to see with a new set of eyes. But can you speak to this also? It's not about elitism. Like, I've been to Gastonia, I've been to their practices most times. And Will, I love you because you're going to listen to this. Will would be the first to tell you what Gastonia is a wonderful place, but it's not often thought of as like, the optimal place to live in the Charlotte area. It's often, a little, they get made fun of because, it's over in Gastonia. It's on that side of the water, right? So can you speak to it? It's not about elitism.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the people it's the little suburb of Charlotte that nobody wants to go to. But if you can have the practice that Will has in Gastonia, North Carolina, right next to Charlotte, then you can do this anywhere.
Right.
You just have to have the right mindset and education, really. Yeah. I mean, if you can do it there, you can do it anywhere.
Yeah. And so you said it because I don't want anybody from Gastonia to feel bad, but the first time I went to Will Current's office, he said, I need you to know a little bit about Gastonia. We love it. My father built a practice here, and it's often the butt end of some jokes about like, you're going to go to Gastonia type of thing. And so his point was like, we're very committed to creating a special type of practice here. And, they're often referred to as the two Wills, Will Current, and they're very unique and different in both ways, and so, but what's cool about both of them and Todd and even what you've created is that you set on a path. So can you start with the whole, the new set of eyes? What does that mean? You mentioned that to me. What did that mean to you?
Yeah, I realized that there was more to dentistry than doing MODs and crowns on broken teeth. I realized that maybe there's a reason why people break teeth. Maybe there's a system. Maybe there's a function to this that I have not seen. Another buddy of ours from dental school, David Hedgeko, he's in Fayetteville. He was one of those practices where I was like, how is he so busy? What is he doing different than I'm doing? I feel like I'm so busy and I'm going to burn out here. Like, why is he so busy doing cool stuff? Mm-hmm. I was busy and good, but oh boy, it was just hard and no joy really after you do your 1,000th MOD,
Right.
So I realized that there was more to it. And I asked Todd, what do I do? And he said, well, you need to go learn. And so I started to get on the CE train and do some workshops and seminars, and I hit it hard. I mean, and that's that thing where if you are going to bet on anybody, bet on yourself. So I invested a bunch of money and a bunch of time, didn't think twice about it, to go learn how to be a better dentist for my patients.
Right. And so I'll repeat what Pete Dawson told me many years ago, and I heard him say it many times. There's a practice within your practice. There might be two practices within your practice. Can you explain that to a young listener who might be listening? What does that really mean to you?
Yeah, I think as a young dentist out there, and I was this way too, and again, I'm no different than you are. If you're the young one out there listening, I'm no different than you are. I just, saw that there was a different way, maybe a more comprehensive way. To me, it meant that there's the everyday bread and butter, do the fillings and crowns, but there's also this niche that you can work for yourself, whether it's orthodontics or replacing implants, or for me, I became kind of the bite guy, where you have an interest that inherently kind of shows up and you do more of it. And the more you do it, the more it shows up, and you don't really need to even market it anymore, where people refer you for that reason. They refer their friends for that reason. So you become maybe a second opinion person and things like that. So it becomes this little thing where you you have these moments in your schedule daily or weekly where you set aside time to focus on what you really, really like to do.
Right. And part of can you speak to this too? I want you to expand on the bike guy thing, but we have a lot of dentists that come to us and they're frustrated by the PPO thing. Now you're fee for service, and this podcast is not about that. But as you embrace the journey of picking something, you get known for that, and it becomes less and less about insurance. Is that true?
Oh, so true. Yeah, because the patients become more and more invested and interested in the best thing for themselves.
Right.
And it's kind of I don't think those two things are congruent, that you can give the patient what's best for them and at the same time have somebody else tell you how much you should charge for that.
Right. Right. And so as Will has done it, and so I'll just tell a little bit about Will's journey. So I can't remember what year it was, and it's been a long time since I've been to his practice, but he sent me a text. He's like, I did it. Finally, fee for service 100%. And what's unique about that, and again, this podcast isn't about that, but what you start to do is you start to call your own shots. You don't have the write-offs. You choose your hours. You choose your own fee schedule. And a lot of people resist the journey towards that because they're like, oh, no, I practice in Gastonia, or I practice in a town that wouldn't lend itself. And you practice where, Brent? Where do you practice?
And we're in Wilmington, North Carolina. So it's a bigger town. It's probably 130,000 here, suburbs, outliers, right on the coast of North Carolina, South Carolina. But it's a nice town, but it's not a Charlotte, Atlanta, big town. I really believe everybody wants the best for themselves, no matter where they live.
Right. And being a fee-for-service practice, you don't have every patient come in with like a platinum American Express card and say, just throw it all on there. Like, can you dispel some of those rumors that people think about?
Yeah, no, we don't have that. And that's the thing. You go to these CE classes and you hear people talk and they're like, oh, that's all they do all day long. It's just this big dentistry, full mouth cases, and it's not that. We don't have these people just show up and say, I want this, here's my money.
Right.
You kind of need to walk them through the process of their dental journey themselves, find out how aware they are of what they have going on with their mouth and their dental health. And then as you educate them, they become more engaged. And as they become more engaged, then you have a patient who wants the best for themselves. That's the best way that I've learned it from Will and Todd and Bill and Jim and those guys.
Yeah. And speaking of dental journey, I want you to give more context to your journey. So you got involved in that study club. You started working with Todd. You started investing yourself. Take us through what happened along that journey? What were some milestones?
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know that there was another heavy milestone, but it was just a constant progression of, let me go learn more. The more I learned, the more I wanted to learn. The more I knew, the more fun it became, and the more I enjoyed dentistry, this second career, if you will. So I really went out to Spear and got on the workshops there. So went to a workshop, came back, and just whenever I could afford to go to another workshop, I did it. There was a time where I went to 2 3-day workshops in a row. So I'm sitting there with Bob Winter for 6 days straight in the lab. And at day 5, he looks at me like, how you doing? I said, I'm good, man. I'm good. Tired, but good.
Yeah.
So I've done a couple Ironmans, and you just lock in and you do it. You focus in, and that's where you go with it. Yeah. So as I did that more and more, became closer with Gary DeWood, and he kind of hinted around about helping out. And I said, what do you need to do to be a visiting faculty here? And he said, well, you need to ask. And so I asked him right then. He just said, sounds good. Yeah. So he invited me to come out and help do that. So I became a card carrying visitor, and now I was became a visiting faculty out there. So
that's so cool. One of the challenges go ahead.
I was going to say that led to a teaching opportunity through Will and Will's periodontist Ron Nason in Chapel Hill. So we would go teach occlusion to the perio residents for a couple of years there in Chapel Hill too. So it's funny how you meet these great people, and they're there to help you. It's you have to go to these places. You have to get yourself out there. You can't just look at things online. You have to get out there and meet the people and experience it for yourself to see what you really want to do, and know where these people, how much they want to help you.
Yeah.
And they do. These older dentists, they want to be your mentor. They want to help you.
They do. And so if you're listening to this, and Brent, I was just sharing with you, I just spoke to a wonderful young female dentist today from Canada. And, one of the journeys that everybody has a different dental journey as a dentist. And so finding a mentor, getting into a group, being an entrepreneur can be lonely. You second guess yourself all the time. And when you do get into a group like Todd's, like Will's, they have the teacher's heart. They're willing to help you in any way. It's amazing. Like they're like, here, take all my new patient forms. Here, take all. Yes. You're like, what? You've spent a lifetime.
Yes.
They get joy from watching you grow. Don't you think?
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And and I can feel that myself, having done this side of it for, 10 years now, is the real joy in it is to see somebody else grow. I heard Gary say, when I was in Arizona one time, he was talking to another person who had been around him a lot. And he said, one of the real joys is for you to become bigger and better than me at doing what we do. And I thought, wow, from Gary to Wood, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. So, it's special but you don't get to meet them if you just kind of hover around the office and stay there and watch things online. I think when you look for things online, you find what you want. But when you go to a workshop, you find what you want, but you also find things that you didn't know you needed. Right. Yeah. Which are relationships and community and more knowledge and the chance to ask questions to the professors or whoever's leading it. It's special. That a lot of times I hear it's so expensive, I can't afford to do that. And I say, you can't afford to not do it. Right. Really.
Yeah. We talk all the time internally as coaches, one of the badges you have to earn to do well and own a great practice is you got to step up. You got to go to the course. You got to fly out there. You got to do it. And then you also have to have the tough conversations. You can't pass those off. Like you got to have those conversations that provide the doors that open. And whether that be with a team member, whether that be with insurance, whether that be with, another specialist in town, whatever it is, you got to confidently put your flag in the ground and start going in that direction. Can you talk about the day that you started putting the flag in the ground? And I don't know if it was intentional that you're the bike guy, but how did that happen? How did that really happen?
Well, as you do more of it, people talk to their friends and they say, oh, I've got that too. And then they come in and good people refer good people. So it wasn't one day or 1 week really where I was like, okay, I'm now the bike guy. And I remember Todd saying, do you want to be the bike guy? I'm like, well, yeah, I kind of enjoy it. So be careful of that. What you wind up doing a lot of, you better like it. Right. Right. So, I would say a transition time, and this is a big one, especially for insurance-driven practices, that when you schedule out a 2-hour appointment and you charge for that about the same that you would charge for a few fillings, and you get paid for that, is an aha moment like, wow, this practice philosophy, as far as a business sense, can work. So that's on the practice management side, an eye opener that like, oh, I did this and it worked. Yeah. And so it's feasible and viable to build your practice within the practice around, your time and your expertise and your talent.
Yeah. Go back to the bike guy conversation, because that's a good one. I joke with Jim McKee all the time. I'm like, you're known in Chicago as the joint guy. Like you take all the crazy patients. And he's like, that's not true. I just enjoy it so much that I get to do this work. Part of what you have to do is pick the work that brings you joy, not so much that it's a financial opportunity. Can you speak to that? Like the work that you're doing now, you enjoy doing, correct?
Yeah. Like, and a lot of it is, occlusion related. And that's my background from the Occlusion Study Club. And so a lot of appliances, a lot of people have headaches, a lot of people have some joint problems, a lot of people that are breaking teeth left and right. I remember an 82-year-old lady who had 3 lower teeth, left side, 2021, getting ready to have root canals for the third time. And she came over because she heard that we knew something about how the way the teeth come together, and kind of got her equilibrated, balanced, and her symptoms went away, and she saved her teeth. And she was missing all these other teeth on the other side of her mouth. And she said, I wish I had met you when you were, when 10 years ago or whatever. It's kind of that referral base that feeds on itself. I don't know who she goes and talks to, but she goes to talk to somebody, and they say, well, this worked out for us. So yeah, that's kind of as you become the bite guy, you just dive into the whole comprehensive system, the joints and the muscles and the teeth. There's things I say all day, every day, and that's one of them: joints, muscles, teeth, joints, muscles, teeth, joints, muscles, teeth. So, and it's funny that the teeth really are just the end of the line. They're at the end of the system. The joint has to be stable. The muscles need to be calm. And oh, by the way, at some point the teeth touch, and hopefully they touch the right way. Yeah. Whereas before my eyes were opened, I thought, oh man, the teeth, and only teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you speak about this part of your journey? So you did a lot of great education, and a lot of people say, 2 sessions at Spear back to back, your brain is on over. How do you bring your team along on this journey? Because that's a huge piece of this, don't you think?
Yeah, that's a great question, Kirk. And it's funny because you come back and you are so energized, you're so ready to go. And they're like, they didn't have the same experience that you did.
Right.
You get back and you're like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to change this. And we're going to buy this, and we're going to use this. And you're going to take pictures just like I learned how to, but I didn't teach you how to. And like, oh, so here's the bumps in the road that they didn't have the same experience you did. Imagine going to the Grand Canyon. Like, you go out there and I look at a postcard of it, and you come back from the Grand Canyon. I see the postcard. I'm like, wow, that looks cool. And you're like, no, you don't know. That was super cool. I saw it. I saw the sunrise, So, and I'm just have a postcard. Like that's their perspective of my trip to learn more, is they didn't experience it. So you double down and you take them out there.
Right.
and they get to experience it also. So they've been a couple times to learn, and we've been as a team to learn together.
Right. That's so cool because number one, it speaks to your commitment to them. Number two, Gary's going to teach them things you couldn't, no matter how hard you tried.
Yeah. Yeah. And as we go along with it, the first seminar, your workshop, you come back from, I didn't know how to teach them. So now, we spend staff meetings. We block time in our schedule to learn how to implement what I just learned. So, and that's a key thing, your schedule management. Like, you're in control of your schedule, no matter what. Like, you can do whatever you want to do with your schedule. You can work on Saturdays if you want to. You can work till 7 or 8 o'clock at night if you want to. But if you set aside time to train your staff and get on the same page and make sure everybody knows what's going on and technically can do it, can take photos the way they need to be taken, it's huge. It's a game changer to have your staff on board with what's going on. So you got to invest the time in your office with your staff.
Right. And let's be clear to anyone you don't have to work evenings or Saturdays, but you can do and you only work 3 days a week, which is great, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I married well.
You did really well. So, and
works on Wednesday. I'm on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So
yeah. Well, I got to ask, like, so this is your journey up to now. What's in the next chapter for Dr. Brent Bush?
Good question.
Yeah.
Great question. I don't know for sure. I got to speak at the ADA, the big meetings, did that 2 years in a row. That was fun, different. Starting this study club with Todd to be the leader here. That's coming up in March. So it's like a 12-person study club. And I'm really excited about that. I think that's where I like the most. I like the 30-person room in Arizona there. I'm with Jim Otten and Bill Robbins in their global diagnosis education online study club, which is awesome. I mean, well worth any kind of dollar you could spend on that. Is you talk about accessible and people that are really excited to help you. I mean, it's unbelievable, these two guys. So I'm a mentor for that, and that's kind of fun. So I'm going to do a presentation tonight. Not sure where that's going to, the study club's going to go, but it's fun to be part of that. So I don't know, just kind of keep my name out there and keep helping people and keep helping our patients,
Amen. Love those guys. Absolutely love those guys.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm a young dentist, I said, Brent, I'm listening to this podcast, but you don't understand. I'm 30 years old. I got a young family. I got patients everywhere. Like, oh my, I have PPO in my practice. Where do I even start? Like, come on, man. Like, this is crazy. I can't even get done what I need to get done in a day. And I'm sure I get these questions all the time. How do you answer them?
Yeah, I think that's the practice within the practice part. Like, if you can carve out an hour a week and designate that to somebody that I know you saw during the week before that needs a special attention, just 1 hour, and talk to them. Don't even put gloves on.
Right.
And that's the best way to start. We used to have, this is funny, talk about a journey. Our new patients were scheduled in hygiene for the hour. So they got their teeth cleaned, and we would do the 10-minute new patient exam within that hour. Then we're like, wow, that's not enough. So we did an hour and 10. Thought, well, let's give it 10 minutes extra. Well, that's not enough. So then we'd bring them in 30 minutes before their cleaning. And when they all got cleanings,
right.
So we'd bring them in 30 minutes beforehand to get them in a separate room. Now we've transitioned to an hour and a half new patient exam, photos uploaded so they can see them right there. And we talk to them for, a good 30 minutes, just trying to find out where they're at, what their goals are. And that's my first question. How can I help you best as your dentist? Like, what do you want from your dentist? And it's amazing what people will tell you if you've given them the opportunity to tell you.
Yeah.
So that would be my advice is take an hour, find a patient that you see something that you want to address with them, or maybe they're going down a bad path and they don't know it, or maybe they do know it and you don't have time, but take that hour and talk to them, get them back, talk to them, take some photos, get a camera for sure. If you don't have a camera, get a camera and use it. Show the patients their pictures. It's unbelievable. That's the first step,
right?
Is for a patient to see their own mouth.
Yeah,
that's a game changer.
Yeah.
So that would be my initial advice, and then learn more.
Yeah. I love it. And speak to this too. It's counterintuitive. And so if I'm listening to you carefully, Brent, wait a minute. You're asking me to take more time away from actually spinning down teeth and not do anything and just talk to people. And you're telling me somehow this is going to get better and somehow people are going to invest in more comprehensive. It's totally counterintuitive. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I've done a talk that's titled "Slow Down to Get Busy." And it's a matter of understanding and helping the patient understand where they are. And you cannot do that in hygiene. Anything more than 3 or 4 minutes of a conversation needs to happen in your own chair at a different time. So yeah, it's a game changer.
Yeah, that is so awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to have you back. I finally got you on. I'm going to have you back again and again and again. But any last thoughts? I want you to talk about the study club that you're going to create. But before we do, like, any last thoughts you have on your practice within your practice?
Yeah, I would say to the young dentists out there, don't be afraid to go learn more, to go approach an older dentist that you look up to and ask them for help. And it may be an instance in time. One of the most impactful dentists that I've been in touch with, I was with him for 5 days at Pankey, and that's it. And he said some things to me that just opened my eyes. So you don't know how long you need to be in their life, if you will, for them to have an impact on you. And so you just got to get yourself out there. Really.
Yeah.
And then when you get back to the practice, take your time to implement what you just learned and lean on somebody for help. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can't find anybody locally, fly out to Dr. Brent Bush's study club. Because really, can you speak to this too? Will's study club wasn't just dentists in Gastonia. There were people from other parts, right? Including you.
Yeah. So Gastonia is 4 hours from me. So I drove over, David drove over. Yeah. So they were mostly local guys. So now ours in March we have a couple guys from Florida, South Carolina, a couple local guys, orthodontists here. Gastonia, Will's associate's going to come to my study club now.
Awesome.
So, circle. Yeah. So I mean, it's you gotta get in the car or get on a plane to really go get yourself out there.
Yeah. Well, I want
unless you can bring Kirk to your office.
No. You don't want to do that. You want to learn from the real masters here. So, and then Brent, if I'm listening to this, and I have some questions for you. I want to reach out. How do I get a hold of you? How do I find out more about your study club? Where do I go?
Yeah. You can email me. Our office email is info@bushfamilydentistry.com. That's probably the best way.
Awesome.
And please, if there's somebody out there that feels stuck or just needs another idea or head or ears, please reach out. I'm happy to help however I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the study club itself, so there's 12 of us. I think we're locked in now. So if it goes well, another year or two, Todd and I might start another one.
Yeah.
So always game.
We don't say if around here. We say when it goes.
That's right.
No,
I tell my kids that we don't say I can't. We say I'm having trouble with. We don't say I can't.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So, buddy, I'm so grateful that we finally got you on, and I'm going to have you back again and again and again. And
love to.
Yeah. So stick around while I say goodbye to everybody else. But thank you guys for listening. I'm going to list all of what Brent and I talked about in our show notes, including his email address. So if you're not taking notes, this is how we do it. We just take notes for you. Flip up to the show notes. You're going to see everything we talked about. You can just click right on his email, send him an email, and reach out. I'm going to highly encourage you to do that. You'll be glad you did. And keep checking in. So hope you guys enjoyed today. If you did, do us a favor, just hit the share button, share this with your friends. Keep sending us suggestions. I get them all the time of things you guys want to see, and we're lining them up. And until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show. You guys enjoy your day.